Today I'll be continuing on the module 5 counseling basics. And okay, as of now, you would have covered a lot about mentoring strategies, and all those things that you need to know about mentoring. So, this is the first time we'll be going into counseling, and we will be starting with the basics. And the learning objectives of this course will be how you will be able to demonstrate the understanding of basic counseling, and you will be able to understand the need and scope of counseling and appreciate counseling as a process and the stages involved in counseling. This is what will be covered in your module 5. So, what is counseling? Counseling is the professional help, and it facilitates the personal growth and development. And it is not like you are all teachers, right? So when there are specific behavior that needs to be dealt with, you will it will be dealt by the trained counselors. So as teachers, you will not be focusing on specific disorders or anything that is like from away from your normal psychological behaviors. So those things will be dealt by trained counselors. So what are we going to learn now? What are we going to learn about in the counseling basics? So before going further, I will show you a YouTube video, and you look at it and you'll get an idea of why it is important to understand the basics of counseling.
Oh, wow. How you doing? You good? Oh, sorry, thank you. How you doing? God, it's exciting, isn't it?
So, how's the week?
You're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope things are better outside. It's so boring.
Ah, you keep it. You keep it. Oh, wow.
So, when you look at the video, you would have thought the person sitting on the left side is the one who is depressed and who needs your attention. But at the last, you would find that the other person who is very enthusiastic, who's like enjoying the game and enjoying life and even thinking about what's going to happen next is thank you, ma'am. So, what's going to happen next is the one who commits suicide. That is what is happening now. I want to share this really sad news. My sister is also one who's working in a college as a lecturer, and what happened is a student of hers committed suicide. She committed it last Monday, but the day before that, on Saturday, she was with her friends having food, laughing. She was giving food to others, sharing it, and she was very happy. But on Monday, she committed suicide. Can you imagine how devastating that is? How, for the friends or for the faculties, for everyone, they might seem like they'll be functioning very normally, and you will feel like there is nothing wrong with them. But it doesn't always have to be the one who is sad, one who is at the corners, who is depressed. So this is why you need to understand counseling. Their life is not there anymore, and she committed suicide, and the family has lost a person, and the friends or everyone would have feel very guilty, right? The person was sitting with me a day before yesterday and they were eating with me, laughing with me, and everything was fine. But a few days later they pass away, and it is a huge part of them, and there will be a lot of guilt. So these understandings are to help you to know that you actually understand the basics of counseling and mentoring, so that your students doesn't face all these things in the future. That is the aim of this module. So for the base of it, counseling is a professional help. It facilitates personal growth and development. And when there are specific behaviors, for example, this person whom I told about, if the person is facing something related to bipolar disorders or any other depressive disorders, it cannot be dealt by you teachers or friends. You can be a support for them, but you cannot completely help them to move away from that. So in those times it has to be done by a trained counselor. So your role will be to support them. To support, you have to understand what is counseling and how many steps are there. All these will help you give awareness of counseling, so that you can be a supportive person to them. So, moving on. This is a common definition that's going on about counseling. It is the application of mental health, psychological, or human development principles through cognitive, affective, behavioral, or systemic intervention strategies that addresses wellness, personal growth, or career development, as well as pathology. So counseling covers a wide areas. It is covering cognitive aspects, affective aspects, behavioral, and it uses everything. It will use different type of interventions for different type of issues. It will address wellness, personal growth, career development, and also pathology in the sense disorders. So all these are being addressed by counseling, and there are specific counselors for specific issues. And moving on. So, Carl Rogers. Carl Rogers is the father of counseling psychology. So, let's see what he says about counseling. Counseling is a series of direct contacts with the individual which aims to offer him assistance in changing his attitude or behavior. So, as per Carl Rogers is a humanistic psychologist. So, what his perspective is, so counseling can help them to give them assistance in changing their attitude and behavior. So overall, we saw that counseling is the professional help. It promotes growth and development, and specific areas are dealt by trained professionals. So these are the important points on the gist of introduction to your counseling. So why counseling? I showed you a video. Now these are some of the examples. So this is how people will feel on the inside. I'm confused about my future. I want someone to help me out of the confusion. And I want some clarity about myself, my abilities, my opportunities. So all these feelings will be inside them. I'm not able to cope with my studies. I do not understand anything. I hate going to colleges. My parents are thinking that I'll graduate and get a job. What do I do now? Can somebody help me out? Can God help me out? So they'll be totally desperate. Like they want someone. You need not be a trained professional, trained counselor, but you can be that someone who can direct them towards the right path. So that is why counseling is important to all of us, and for you to get the awareness about. So this is another example. I cannot cope up with studies. I have a lot of blockages and I'm a failure. I'm a stupid. So these feelings are there in students. They are in our hearts. Not just people who are in other fields, even psychologists, even people who are doing therapies and counselings, and those therapists sometimes feel this. So this feeling is not just only for people who are like abnormal or anything that is away from the normal of the society. Being anxious, being fearful, feeling guilty are all part of their human thoughts and behavior. So these feelings are gonna be there, but you have to overcome it. Only when you are going to overcome it, you will face life in a better way. But if you are unable to overcome those feelings on your own, then you will need another individual. That individual will be a counselor, a supporting person, a mentor, someone who will help you lead to a better future. There are many such students in our colleges and universities who cry for our help. I want to ask you this. If you have witnessed any of these characteristics in your students, you can put an S in the chat box. Or you would have felt it yourself at some point of your life, or you would have felt it when you were a student. So, have you witnessed such feelings among your students or some colleagues or peers? You can put it in the chat box. Yes, put a S in the chat box if you have witnessed those things. Sure. So this is happening all over. So what we need to do, we have to be well equipped and well prepared for what is happening and how you can support them. So that is what is going to be here. What? So a good number of students need much more than teaching the subject well from a teacher. So they don't, nowadays there are Google, AIs and YouTube videos that can teach with so many good animations. So when students are approaching a teacher, they are expecting more than teaching from them. They are expecting a person who will be there to support them when they are in case of trouble. But not many students will be like, I need help, and they'll come to a teacher, because that happens when you have those kind of characteristics of being approachable. Being a counselor means they need some qualities and characteristics. We'll also see about those in the next few slides. So what is the aim of student counseling? The main aim is to empower our students, because when they are students here, they are going to be working for professionals in the future. They're going to have families, they're going to be leading their family, they're going to be breadwinners there. So when you are empowering a student, you are empowering a future generation who's going to handle the whole country. So that is the ultimate aim for our aim for student counseling, the empowering the students. So how it will be done? By modifying the behavior and thoughts. So how this should go back? By building confidence, enhanced problem solving. You have to help them understand, like, and when I say enhanced problem solving, it is not you giving out advice, you giving out solutions is not problem solving. In counseling, it is important to understand that you will not give advice, you will not give solutions, you will not give suggestions, because every decision should come from their side, because they are an independent individual and they are capable of solving their own problems. Can you imagine if you give advice and solve a problem for a student, and there comes a problem in their future, what happens? They won't be able to solve it by themselves. So you have to let them analyze the situation how it is now, and you can ask them, okay, how would you like to solve this problem? How would will these solutions have a good consequences for you? Will you be able to handle these alternatives? So problem solving is really important. The main thing about youngsters not approaching adults or elders is because of the advice thing. They don't want to get advices, they don't want to be told that you're wrong. So you don't have to solve their problem, just show their way. Okay, then you can improve stress management strategies, bring a positive change in them, improve their social skills, provide a non-judgmental environment for free expression. People nowadays are facing a hard time to express themselves. If they post something on social media, they're going to get many bad comments and many vulgar comments, and they're going to feel bad. So that is a judgmental environment. And among friends, they're going to feel like they have a conformity to the group. They have to feel act according to certain standards to be a part of the group. So they'll be afraid of being judged by their friends, and because that's their social circle. So as a counseling in a counseling session, or as a counselor or a person who supports, there should be a non-judgmental environment. So your teachers, you're not counselors, remember that. But as a counselor, they will not judge you. No counselor will be like, this person, even when they murder somebody, a counselor cannot judge them. So that is what it is. And improving their positive skill, ensuring their positive changes in them, and all these will lead to what? Modifying their behavior and empowering the students. The ultimate aim of a student counseling. Thank you all. Happy learning.